Good afternoon. It's a very hot day today. Just going out for a little drive, so I thought I'd just do a little review on the driving, tell you about some of the bits and pieces. As I've said in previous videos, I'm not a car reviewer, so this camera is going to be a bit shaky because it's on a mount that is probably not ideal, but we'll see how we go. We've got a facing forwards one as well, which is okay. So this is a dual carriageway, so we're going to drive down the dual carriageway and then pick up some smaller roads, and I can just talk to you about a few things about the Kia Niro. So first thing to do is to join the dual carriageway, and for that we will put it in sport mode, which we will talk about, and away we go. And that is 60 right there. So it's not a slacker, but it's a big old car. You know, this one, it's not a sports car. So so the Kia Niro, this is the plug-in hybrid, the 2020 model. It's the 3 trim, so there is a 2 trim and there is a 3 trim. This is the 3 trim. I'm not sure what the difference between the two is as far as specs is concerned, but this is the 3. So at the moment, this is motorway speed using the smart cruise control, which is amazing. It's so clever. It's very reactive. It knows exactly what it needs to do when it needs to do it. So it's slowed down because the car in front of me is turning off. Now the car has left and it's accelerating again. Excuse me, just rip my mic off. It's accelerating again now to get to the car in front. So it's very clever. And we're getting to the range of the car in front now, so it's now slowing down. That's the speed camera. So the smart cruise control is amazing. It's very clever. So we're currently doing 62 miles an hour. If I overtake this car and get up to a bit quicker, the car decides he's going to also overtake. So we're all going to overtake very slowly. I want to get up to 70 because it's a very hard asphalt surface. This one, it's a smooth surface, but it's a very noisy surface. So I wanted to do that before we got to the 40, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to do that. So I wanted to give you a bit of road noise, but it's a pretty quiet car. There is road noise, obviously there's road noise. You have to remember the price point of the car, which is let's say 33,000 for the sake of it. It's just below that. There's no extras on this, so I think it's something like 32.5 or whatever. But it's a big car. It's got a high profile, so the wind noise is obviously going to be more. The wing mirrors are quite large, and let's face it, it's not an £80,000 car where you would expect it to be extremely quiet, but it's very comfortable. It doesn't make an awful lot of noise. If you can hear rattles, it's from that phone mount, because it's not an ideal phone mount. But the car's comfortable. It's really lovely to drive. I've done a lot of miles in it in the last 3 weeks. I've done about 1,200 miles in the last 3 weeks. All of them have been very comfortable, not tired when you get to the other end. So yeah, it's a nice, comfortable car. So as far as the driving of the car, there's 4 modes. I suppose you can call them modes. You've got automatic, which the car will decide what is the best drive train and when is the best time to use that drivetrain to be as fuel efficient as possible. It will choose. You've then got HEV mode, which is kind of, it will retain the battery to a degree. And I say to a degree because it's not like some of the other cars that you can actually save the battery until you get into town. It will prioritise petrol over battery, but it will still use battery. But I've been on a journey with HEV and I've come into a town 100 miles later and I've still had 30 miles because obviously you've got regeneration and all the rest of it that goes on. You've then got full EV mode, which is, as it says, full EV for, they claim a range of 36. I've got 34, but I've not done, all of those 34 miles were 50, 60 miles an hour, up to 50, 60 miles an hour. And some dual carriageways. So I think if you were around town all day, I think 36 miles an hour is achievable. And bearing in mind, you've got 3 or 4 levels of regeneration as well. So you can have none, you can have 1, which is mild, or the lowest, which is what I tend to drive on. Then you can have 2, obviously, which is medium, and then 3, which is heavy regeneration. And that's, I think, as close as you're going to get to one pedal driving on. Sorry, let's move that up a bit. One pedal driving on a plug-in hybrid. It's fairly, that's 3 now, and I'm not touching the brake pedal. 30, 25, 20, 15. So it will, it will brake to a certain degree. So that's the regeneration, and they're the different modes. You have got sports mode. Now, I've watched a lot of reviews on this car before I got it, and did a fair bit of research because it's a lease car and I've got it for 4 years. So I didn't want to make the same mistake I made with my last lease car, which was a Volvo V40. I had that for 4 years, and I've got to be honest, it was not a great car. And because of my job, a 2-litre diesel D3 was not good for tax, which is another reason why I've got this. So something's rattling. I hate things rattling. I'm pretty sure it's the bracket there. Lost my train of thought there. What was we talking about? Oh yeah, the different modes. So sports mode. So I've watched some reviews where they've rubbished the sports mode, and I think what you've got to realise is driving this is quite sedate. It's not a engaging drive. It's not super fast. It's not supposed to be. It's a very heavy, quite a high, not very aerodynamic shape, with 16-inch tyres, or 16-inch wheels, should I say. It's never good. It was never meant to be. It's not a sports car. It's not meant to be a sports car. However, having driven my Volvo, which is was a D3, that is not fast, but it's fairly quick. It's not a slouch. And the difference between driving this in any of the normal modes and when you put it in sports mode is, I think, very noticeable. The throttle response is much quicker. The steering sharpens up a lot more. Just turn that off. That was the lane keeping assist telling me that I wasn't in the lanes. The problem with that is when you've got roads where there's filter lanes and lanes are changing quite often, it will kind of, the steering will fight you a little bit to do what it thinks is correction, when clearly you know what you're doing. So I turn that off when I'm not on. If I'm not using the smart cruise control, I don't bother with the lane assist or lane keeping assist system, or whatever it's called. But the sports mode, there is a massive difference. I think there's a massive difference in it anyway. When you put your foot down normally, there's not an awful lot of response. It will take its time doing whatever it needs to do. But in sports mode, it is a lot more immediate. And like I say, it's not fast. not by any stretch. I think the 0 to 60 on this is probably, I'm going to say, 9 seconds, I would imagine, at a guess. But I live in London. I live on the outskirts of London. You can't go fast anywhere anyway. So another reason why I bought this, leased this car. Anyway, more about the driving. So we've touched on the different modes. We've touched on the smart cruise control, which is really, really clever, and it makes things so much more enjoyable to use, to drive on long distances. The economy, some recent trips that I did, I left the tachometer, if you want to call it that, odometer, the trip, I left that running for 4 days and charged every night, and over those 4 days I think I did something like about 300 or 400 miles, and I was getting 109 miles per gallon, which is insane. So it's pretty bloody efficient. You have to charge it though, obviously. What else have we got? Most things you can do from the steering wheel. The map, the navigation system is fine. It's pretty good. It's accurate. It has traffic live, or Kia Live, I think they call it, on it. So it will tell you if there's any issues with traffic. The seats are really comfortable. Heated seats in the front, heated steering wheel, powered heated driver's seat. So moving backwards and forwards, getting comfortable is never an issue. In this, I don't really, so a few people have moaned, oh, it's cheap because they haven't done that on the passenger seat, but to be honest, 95% of the time that I drive this car, there's no one sitting in that seat. So, you know, and the only person that generally sits in that seat is my other half. So she sets it how she likes it, and it stays there, and that's pretty much it. Why do you need to waste money on paying extra money for a powered seat when only one person sits in it, and not very often? But anyway, other than that, I mean, what else can I tell you about the drive? It's very smooth. I mean, it's a heavy car. It's got a lot of batteries in it, so as well as an engine. So it has to be, you know, the suspension has to be fairly firm, but it's not uncomfortable firm. It's not bumpy. It's smooth. It is smooth. It doesn't rock and roll around too. Doesn't rock and roll around too much. Dickhead decides he was going to indicate left but carry on going round and roundabout. So it is fairly comfortable over bumps, as you will see when we go down this road, because this road is absolutely awful when it comes to potholes and God knows what else. So generally it's a really nice drive. It's really comfortable, good on long distances. It's got pretty much all the mod cons that you would want, all the mod cons that I think you would need. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say about it than that. It's a lovely, lovely car. I'm thoroughly enjoying driving it around. I've even cleaned it, which is amazing for me. Inside of my cars are always generally clean, but the outside, because I live on the edge of the forest, on the edge of Epping Forest, we get so much dust off of the trees. You'd be washing your car every other day to keep it spotless. So, and now because of what coronavirus, I took my car to get cleaned inside and out at Tesco's. Yes, I am naming you, fucking Tesco's. £12 it used to cost to wash the car. Now because of coronavirus, £25. Because apparently if they do inside of the car, they have to completely disinfect it, which means it's just over double the price. Give me a fucking break. Honestly. Have we gone mad in this world? Is everybody using COVID-19 as a fucking excuse to rip everyone else off? I think there is an element of that, but don't get me started on my soapbox about COVID-19. I don't have any issues with COVID-19. Everyone be safe. Everyone follow the government guidelines. Everyone be sensible. But in the beginning, when everyone was worried about profiteering, the government were going to come down very hard on profiteering. Like fuck have they. Anyway, back to the car. I have not driven it at night yet because we're in the middle of summer, hence it's 36 degrees at the moment according to the thermometer. I don't know where the thermometer on the car is, but I've been driving the car for a little while now, and so it's not going to have been sitting anywhere where it's going to heat it up. It would have had air flowing over it. So I haven't driven the car at night yet. I have sat in it at night and obviously messed around, taking it off charge. The instruments, the instrument panels, the cluster all looks very, very nice. It's lit in a nice way where it's not glaring me in your face. Be keen to see what the lighting situation is on the car of a night time. It's got spots, it's got running lights, LED running lights, and I suppose I probably should check out what the new redesigned rear lights look like. Maybe I'll do a quick blast around of it later when it's dark, or something like that. I'll do that at some point. So, as far as driving the Kia Niro 2020 plug-in hybrid, yes please. It's very nice, it's very comfortable, it's very relaxing, and if you're not Top Gear or a professional car reviewer, if you pop it in sport, it gets you where you need to go. Other than that, it's extraordinarily economical and very comfortable with lots of safety features. So I'm going to leave you here now with a lovely view of the reservoirs, North London off to the right, Epping Forest off to the left. I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching. If you want to do all the usual stuff, that's up to you. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not ever looking at being a YouTuber. I just thought, well, I've seen a few videos of this car, but not the new 2020 version, not from the UK anyway, as yet. So I thought I'd do a few videos. If you've got any questions you want to ask me, then ask away. And if there's something particularly you want me to test, then I'm more than happy to do that as well. So until next time, which we've still got the infotainment to do, the interior of the car in depth, and I'll have a look at the lights and the lighting, exterior and interior, of a night time. So we'll do that again at some point. Probably when it's dark. So until the next time, thanks for watching. Catch you later.